Welcome back to the show. It's Dr. Jazzman1 and happy Good Friday. Today I'm reviewing one of my favorite Disney animated films, a Goofy movie. And this year is their 30th anniversary. A Goofy movie was released on April 7th, 1995. Now that to me is wild because that was the year I was born. Anyways, the only Goofy movie I remember watching growing up was an extremely Goofy movie, which was a sequel to a Goofy movie. And I didn't know about that until years later. And I didn't even see a Goofy movie until 2007 when I was watching it on Disney Channel, on the Disney Channel. Now I rewatched it 12 days ago, well years later and 12 days ago, and it still holds up as a nostalgic favorite. Yeah, I remember singing to one of the parts that were in the movie. Now I know all of you have seen the Goofy movie, but this is my first time doing a review on it, but I'm gonna keep it short. So let's break it down. So this movie is basically about Goofy and his son Max. Now Max has this crush on Roxanne, and he wants to get her attention. He has this kind of relationship with his dad. It's a typical one. But you know, Goofy wants to have this father-son bonding with Max. So he wants to take him on a cross-country trip, which kind of throws Max off.
This isn't just my vacation. It's a vacation with me and my best buddy.
Oh, Donald Duck?
No, silly. With you.
Oh, hell no! Yeah, Max didn't see that coming. Alright, now it's time for me to talk about the characters in the movie. Now Max Goof, you know, who's Goofy's son and protagonist in this movie, he's like one of those teens that we used to be growing up. You know, trying to fit in and try to impress somebody that we like. Impress a girl that we like. In this movie, he tries to impress a girl named Roxanne. Well, he does that by dressing up as Caroline during the principal's announcement during the last day of school. He does all these dance moves, you know, doing the moonwalk. He nailed that perfectly. Max nailed it perfectly. And you know, he finally gets Roxanne's attention, which is cool. And yeah, that was probably one of my favorite parts in the movie about Max. How he does all the dance moves and all this stuff, dressing up as Caroline. I'll talk about more of my favorite parts of the movie in a minute. Now his friend PJ, I love the chemistry between those two. Those two are really good friends. And their friendship started way back in the series, animated series, Goof Troop. You know, it's been a long time since I've seen Goof Troop. I just got back watching it since last year. And let me tell you, the series is by far the best in the Disney animated series. And if you haven't seen a Goof Troop, check that out right now. But back to the character PJ. He is funny. He is the cool guy. That type of friend that we need in life. I mean, someone that we want to have in life. PJ, fantastic. Now their other friend Bobby. Let me tell you, this guy, he's laid back, he's cool, he's chill. Kind of reminds me of Cody from Step by Step, and it's fantastic. Another friend that we need in life. Oh, there was one favorite scene that I like about him. He takes a can of cheese spray, sprays it all over his hand, makes like a Tower of Pisa. Instead of saying that, he says, "It's the Leaning Tower of Jesus." That was pretty cool. That was pretty amazing. Now those three have a brilliant chemistry together, and it kind of reminds me of them in Extremely Goofy movie. I never knew their names when I was seeing that movie, to be honest. Alright, let's talk about Goofy in this movie. You know, Goofy was one of my favorite characters growing up. You know, I've seen a lot of his shorts, you know, from when he was a knight, a basketball player, football player. He did it all. and he was also a skier, which was where his iconic howler came from. You know, Goofy was the it factor for Disney. You know, he, Donald, and Mickey were the best. But you know, in this movie, he's like this single father, you know, taking care of Max, you know, being like this clumsy father and all that kind of stuff. You know, he does a lot of crazy stuff in this movie, which is what I like. But you know, no matter what kind of stuff Max gets into, Goofy is always there for him. And I think that's really what I love about this movie, you know. Goofy always being there for Max, you know, whenever he's down and out. I mean, whenever Max is down and out. That's what I love about it. I think Goofy was really the best person in this movie. The type of father that we like. The type of father that everyone needs in life. So yeah. Goofy, to this day, is still the best. Now Pete, on the other hand, let me tell you about Pete. Now, the chemistry that he and Goofy have are spot on. But you know, it kind of reminds me of how Pete had his days with Mickey, you know. But you know, putting Pete with Goofy, spot on. Kind of reminds you of the years from Goof Troop to a Goofy movie. Now, there was a scene in the movie, like, these two, you know, Goofy and Pete were in the pool together, you know. How Pete saying, "Hey, my son respects me." Now I was thinking, okay. But you know, Goofy, you know, talks him down, like saying, I think that scene was pretty cool. I mean, that scene was pretty intense in a sort of way. Or how about the time when Pete had PJ come up and set up the ball? I mean, knocked out one of the pins. He'd be like, "Whoa!" Pete be like, "What? Score one!" All that kind of stuff. I was like,
oh my god, bro.
that was absolutely ridiculous in my book. That was absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what my favorite song from this movie is, but if I have to choose, I think it would have to be Eye to Eye. For the first time ever, we're seeing it eye to eye. I bet you everybody was singing that song. It's probably the best one off the movie too. You know, Tevin Campbell really nailed it by singing this song, along with Rosie Gaines, you know, from Princess New Power in the Power Generation. Yeah, that song stuck in my head to this day. The song Eye to Eye. And that Powerline scene from the concert. You know, Goofy and Max dancing with Powerline, getting up, getting down on stage. That's one of my favorite scenes ever. That's probably one of my favorite scenes ever in the movie. The next song, Stand Out, is another one. You know, it kind of reminds me of Max doing the power line on during the principal's announcement. I mean, hijacking the principal's announcement. Now, other songs like On the Open Road and Nobody Else But You. Yo, I can. You see, these songs are amazing, timeless, and I couldn't choose a favorite. You see, like I said, I didn't know what my favorite song from the movie was, but they're all great in my book. They are really, really, really great. Now let's talk about some of my other favorite parts in this movie, like Lester's Possum Park scene. Totally hilarious. You know, Goofy giving Max a possum hat. You know, who's your favorite possum? That mascot. It's pretty cool. Or one time where Goofy and Max encounter Bigfoot. That was cool. Let's see, what other favorite do I have? Well, I guess that's all the favorites that I have. Now, this movie, like I said, was a timeless favorite. It basically talks about, relationships and kind of like bonding. I think that's what I love about this movie, It kind of reminds me of the times that I had with my dad, fishing, doing landscaping, working, talking with each other, and all that kind of stuff. This movie kind of relates to that. Now, the voice actors in this movie are awesome. Like Jason Marsden really nailed it on Teenage Max. Bill Farmer was born to play Goofy. He was born to play Goofy, and he nailed it really out of the park. Jim Cummings playing Pete. He's my favorite voice actor, by the way, along with Rob Paulsen, who voiced the PJ. Yeah. So yeah, the voice actors in this movie were awesome. I really gotta give a shout out to Kevin Lima for directing the Goofy movie, because he really did a great job on it. And he talked about it on the documentary called Not Just a Goof. If you haven't seen that yet, go check it out right now. It's really amazing. I would like to speak to him one day, do an interview with him on my podcast. I'm going to get back into that one day. I'm going to get back into doing my podcast, because it's been so long since I did my podcast episodes and stuff. When you think about the Goofy movie, like I said earlier, not only is it a timeless hit, but it's something that you can relate to. Like with Goofy and son Max having that father-daughter relationship, it's something that people can relate to, and it's an amazing movie. And if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend y'all go check it out right now. So what are your thoughts on the Goofy movie? Let me know about it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to respond. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this review, and hopefully I did a good job on it, because it's been so long since I did a movie review. I did 2 movie reviews years ago, and so yeah, it's been a long time. Thanks for watching this movie review. Don't forget to give it a like. If you want to see more, click subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content that I post out. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. This is Dr. Jasmine1 saying, stay nostalgic, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, and happy anniversary, A Goofy Movie.